New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Good evening, and welcome to the Miracle of Prosperity, the Sunday evening late edition. We apologize for the delay in starting. We had some technical difficulties, but let me introduce myself. I am your host, the Reverend Jim Webb, Senior Minister of the Tacoma Metaphysical Chapel in Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm the author of a number of books, including The Soul of Prosperity and its companion books, Prosperity from A to Z, 30 P's for Prosperity, Create Your Self-Manifesting Vision Board, and my most recent book, Forgive Your Way to Prosperity. So here on the New Thought Media Network, we have a show dedicated to prosperity, and not only prosperity as some think of it, as money and stuff, but prosperity that encompasses a wide range of things. We focus on physical prosperity, health, wellness, well-being. We focus on professional prosperity, where, in the words of Florence Scovel Shinn, you have the wonderful job with wonderful pay, where you perform a wonderful service in a wonderful way. We look at logistical prosperity, where you move through your life with grace and ease. And of course, we look at financial and emotional and spiritual prosperity, where you have enough love and a sense of peace and enough financial support so that you have enough to spare and enough to share. And it's no longer a source of stress, but instead is a source of joy. So we look at all of that. And each week, we bring you a new way to either remove a barrier to the prosperity that already exists. For just as Rumi, the Sufi poet, said, "Love is all there is. Our task is to remove all barriers to realizing it." Well, prosperity is simply love made manifest. And our task is to remove the barriers that we have inadvertently or unconsciously placed between us and prosperity, and to enhance the practices that will attract more prosperity to us. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And tonight, we've got a special topic. Our topic is Dance Your Way to Prosperity, the role of movement and dance in developing an energy, a vibration, and a consciousness of prosperity. And I'm so pleased to have with us tonight Angela Ingram. Good evening, Angela.
Good evening. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And in the interest of full disclosure, Angela is a homegirl. I'm from Clairton, Pennsylvania. She's from Duquesne. She knows my cousins who are in Duquesne, and I know her cousins in Clairton. What a small world it is. So, Angela, we're so glad to have you, especially working with this exciting topic. So, tell me, you're a long way from Duquesne, Pennsylvania. How did you get into dance, and what do you find to be the benefits of dance and movement?
I think that I was born in movement as the rest of us was. And at being born in movement, I gradually became interested in the technical aspect of dance as well as the folklore aspect of dance. And understanding that everything in life has movement. So, movement is our natural ability to work, walk, and live through life. So, in terms of just getting into dance, I don't know if that is the correct terminology of getting into dance. I think we're all born with movement. So, I just gradually, maybe I could say this way, find myself in a technical journey through life as in a dancer.
Okay, that helps me understand. And what I forgot to tell our audience is that Angela has taught and does teach movement and dance at a number of different places, including several colleges around the area and in certain venues such as Dance Place in DC. And she also works with yoga, Pilates, as well as a number of different modes of dance. So it is dance and movement, as you mentioned. And one of the things that we look at in prosperity is what can we do to raise our vibratory rate? Because the higher our vibratory frequency, the more aligned with the energy of love it is. And the more aligned with the energy of love it is, the more we attract more loving energy and thus more loving circumstances. So tell us how dance can raise our vibratory energy, Angela.
Dance can raise your vibratory energy because through movement, you release a lot of negative vibrations. You do not hold on to negative emotions when moving through life through movement. It's very difficult to hold on to any type of negative energy when you're moving because the movement itself will let you release and gain some higher vibratory happiness and joy in your spirit.
Okay, in other words, like Taylor Swift said, shake it off. Is that right?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, and that is so important because, as I outline in my book, The Soul of Prosperity, one of the X factors of prosperity is the willingness and ability to release old energy, to release pain, to release fear, to release doubt, and to release shame, because those are contracted energies that block the free, natural, and full flow of love, which is the flow of prosperity consciousness. So, dance, would you say, plays a role in that?
Absolutely. It plays a major role in that because, as you're saying, and with contraction and release, if your energy is stagnant, then you have no way to release that negative energy and it builds up inside of you, keeping your vibrations very low. When you move, it starts to release naturally, even if you don't think consciously that it's moving. The energy is moving itself and preparing itself to a higher vibratory frequency. So, in that movement itself brings you more joy and prosperity.
Okay, that's very helpful. And what that also helps me to understand is that we think of dance only as what we do at the clubs at 12:30, or should I say what we used to do at the clubs at 12:30 a.m. But movement is so much more than that. What are some of the other types of movement that can fulfill a similar function to dance?
Well, let's maybe take away from the actual adjective of dance and say movement in itself. So when we think of any type of nature, everything is in movement. The wind blows and the trees move. The earth is rotating. The sun moves from, it rises and sets. The moon, the stars, everything is in movement. And that's the dance of life. So we break down sometimes these things and make it a negative vibratory frequency when it's not. It's a life force. And you need movement in order to sustain your prosperity.
Okay. So, like Tai Chi, is that accurate? Is the Chi is the life force? So, any type of movement, whether it be dance or controlled movement or meditative movement, all serves that same purpose? Is that what you're saying?
Movement is meditative in itself. Dance is meditative in itself. When we look at just society in general, folkloric societies and indigenous societies, we see that movement was never separated from the life force. We have a distinguishy in this culture, maybe, to say dance is separate. Like you said, going to the club, we think about it in that sense, but it's not. Your movement, your heart is moving, your blood is flowing. Movement is movement. And that's where the higher frequency, if you understand what movement is, comes from. And then you raise your consciousness through movement.
Wonderful. So, in other words, we're moving all the time. Is that accurate?
All the time. Well,
And
let's say
most of
this.
the time.
When we're in traffic or something, we go, "Ugh." That's not movement. And that's why we get anxious. If we
Oh, okay.
move something, then it becomes release. We're not just sitting there in traffic going, ah!
Uh-huh.
The slightest thing, just this gentleness of movement and dropping of the shoulders, will release some energy and some tension. And you keep your poise. You don't let that elevate to a negative vibration. You let it relax and release.
Okay. So, we do this unconsciously. What are some of the ways that we can consciously move and release so that we are continually cycling out anything unlike love and cycling in that which is like love?
Okay, so I will say this just a little. You mentioned Taylor Swift and the Shake It Off. Well,
Yes.
back in the day, didn't we have a dance that would go like that?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So,
Yes.
literally, in folkloric nature, in these indigenous dances, you would bring in the energy that you needed and release the energy that was negative. So, just that in itself, you would inhale the goodness
Mhm.
and release it. So, your body is contracting and releasing as nature does, contracting and releasing. So, really, that is something that is indigenous and as old as time itself. Just that. And you don't even have to use your hand. You can just go, that in
Yes.
itself will start movement and releasing and bring prosperity into your spirit.
Yes, that really does help me understand. And now, one of the things I do understand about you, Angela, is that you have studied folklore and folkloric dance. And now we have some cultural, how do you say, ideas or cliches in our minds. And all of a sudden, when you mentioned that, something occurred to me, and I want to validate this, okay?
Yes.
Many times, indigenous people, we have this idea of indigenous people dancing around the fire and, that dance and that movement, almost in a sense, making them dizzy. And we have the a cliche of their voices little by little raising and raising and raising. And then we have the cliche of them doing a whoop of release and as a group simply releasing this amazing energy and then allowing a flow. But that may be just how me, with my spiritual mind, is interpreting it. Is that an accurate depiction of some of the, let's say, folkloric ideas that are a part of our common consciousness?
That is that is accurate because that's exactly what happens. What is it that release? When we release, something goes that comes out of us. We cry, we scream, those things is still a
Yes.
release. As we gather all that information in, it has to go somewhere. It has to
Yes.
come out some way. If it doesn't come out some way through that movement, that
Yes.
exhalation, and when you exhale, that's just a natural, it is
Yes.
movement in itself. So if you don't do
Mhm.
that, then it becomes stagnant. And then what happens? We build and have disease within our bodies. And we
Yes.
do not want to have that stagnant. So when you're in around the fire and we're doing all that, And, sometimes through the course of history, there's been negative connotations of these things, but they were actually with spirit. They're natural
Yes.
phenomenon. We do the
Thank you.
same thing as the fire. We do the same
Yes.
thing as the wind. We do the same thing as the water. It's all
Yes.
about natural movement, which is the
Yes.
dance.
Yes, the dance. And a part of that dance is release, whether it
Yeah.
be cathartic release, whether it be the release of tension, pain, suffering, doubt, fear, or anything like that. As I work within my book, The Soul of Prosperity, releasing that energy to make way for new ideas, that $1,000,000 idea, to make way for a sense of love, to make way for a sense of deservingness, make way for a sense of peace. Now, there's another aspect of this. Many times, that release is somewhat orgasmic because when that release occurs, whether it be an actual physical orgasm or whether it be the orgasmic release of a group of people just going woo and releasing all at once, there's an opening for a higher energy to come in. Uh, so is that an aspect of us continually raising our vibration to allow more good, more higher energy chi, which brings more prosperity?
Absolutely. Because if you have a house full of things, how are you going to fit anything else in unless you release some of the other stuff? And
Yes.
so, in terms of us spiraling upward, things are
Yes.
circular, spiraling, doing
Hmm.
things spiraling, you have to release it in order to make room and space for the higher source to come in. Because naturally speaking, what you slough off is
Hmm.
something, and you're naturally going to, it's just like life itself, the season has changed. It's naturally going to give you higher vibratory sense, even if you're not conscious of it. If you release it
Yes.
and let it go with joy, with pride, with pain, and with love.
Yes.
Love is essential. Love is essential.
Because that is the building block for prosperity. It is the raw material of prosperity. For anything that we outpicture in our world is a form of love being shown or reflected back to us. And as we do so consciously, and as we vibrate more with love, what we see in our world as a reflection of our energy is more loving. So that's fascinating. And I'm so enjoying this conversation. But we
Mhm.
have to go sell some products now.
Yes, we
So
do.
we're going to go to a break and we're going to come back and we're going to take the audience's questions here on the New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
And we're back here on the Miracle of Prosperity with Angela Ingram. And we're talking about dance your way to prosperity. We're actually talking about the pivotal role of dance and movement in the energetic process of opening ourselves to the energetic flow of prosperity. And we're glad to see that our audience is trickling in now that they know we have a show tonight. Uh, we have a question at 8:32 or 8:24 from Reverend Jane Batt about movement as we mature. Hi, Angela. Is movement still possible as I reach 70 something?
Absolutely. And at that stage, you have more to work with. You have a different understanding of life. You have experience. So your movement even comes more aligned with the spirit just through your experience of living.
Hmm. Wonderful. Now, Angela, what are some ways that we can more consciously use movement to release? We do so unconsciously, as you mentioned in the first block of this program. But what are some of the ways that we can kind of turn on the conscious idea, I'm going to use movement to raise my vibration?
Well, one thing I think that we all can do is we all breathe. And if we
Hmm.
can connect our breath to a movement, that would be very helpful. So we can all do this just very simple. As we inhale, one breath, we inhale. And as we exhale, we literally release and contract that energy. That even builds a vibration so that the exhale and the breath of life
Hmm.
is creating a larger signal for you to connect with a higher source just by breathing, consciously breathing. So just and one more. And you totally start to feel release. You even
Yes.
begin to get a little lightheaded,
Yes.
which means
Yes.
that what? We are allowing ourselves to be connected to a source, not just the cardinal or the material source, the spiritual source. You connect with that lightness of your breath and
Mm.
simpleness. This is a major issue for us, right?
Mm.
Even if we just
Yes.
take our shoulders and
Hmm.
put them to our ears and we inhale and we just release it, that creates that tension that we all, so many of us are doing this. I'm not going to give it to everybody, but we're here a lot. And that
Hmm.
in itself, it also helps you poise. I mentioned traffic earlier. We just do
Yes.
this instead of bop, bop, bop. That in itself, when you do it one more time, I do things in threes and release. That is very helpful. That starts to create less tension in the body. And another simple thing, just spiraling. I'm just going to spiral here on my chair. And we
Hmm.
just take our upper body, I'm sitting down, and we
Hmm.
just spiral. Both shoulders go to one thing, and we look to the back of the room,
Hmm.
and that's your spine.
Mm. Like a
Opening it.
spine twisting pose in yoga.
Yes. Yes. So we
Okay.
open it, and we do the same thing. We take an inhale, and then we come back center. We just exhale slowly, creating that energy in our spine or our chakras.
Yes.
Chakras are
Does that
ignited.
open our Shakti? Does that open our Shakti when we do like a spine twisting pose?
Absolutely. Because
Okay.
and you think about vertebrae by vertebrae as you move. And both shoulders, yes. And keep moving. I'm looking at you as we go. Keep moving. Yes. And you want to create, I'm going to use my hands here. Yes. You want to create that alignment in your body, right? As you
Mm.
twist. The
Wow.
shoulders go. Yes. Uh-huh.
Because let me tell you something. I was feeling a little tension when we were having technical challenges,
Yes.
but you know what? I don't feel any tension now. I feel renewed. I feel refreshed.
That's exactly it. And that's when your consciousness can allow you for more prosperity.
That's when
That's
your mind opens to that $1 million idea. That's when you feel a sense of peace that you didn't feel before. That's when you feel connected to something bigger than yourself, that great unseen, loving, healing, transformative force that is provisional, unconditional, in infinite supply, and is ultimately love.
absolutely. And I think we often neglect our face. So, as you
Mm,
mentioned, technical difficulties, we all can get caught up in that moment.
yeah.
This,
Yes.
I'm going to take off my glasses, but
Uh-huh.
this just in general, just blink your eyes shut, scrunch your face,
And hold the tension.
hold attention, and then release it. Open up everything. Do it
Yeah.
again. Just squeeze everything and then release it. And one more, squeeze it and release it.
And you know
That is,
what I did?
what
You
did
know
you
what I
do?
did? I also grabbed the bottom of the chair. This is a wooden chair, and I'm at my friend's house, so I better not break his chair.
No,
But I grabbed the bottom of the chair to involve my upper body as well. And
exactly.
that moved into tension. And I, in a sense, contracted my Shakti. And then when I released, I opened and I could almost feel the Kundalini energy moving up my Shakti.
You will feel it. You will absolutely. You will feel that movement. Even
Hmm.
just, I'm gonna take two hands here and put them right near my chest. You see that?
Okay.
And I'm gonna
Hmm.
inhale, and we're gonna flow, and we're gonna open, and just up. And you want this part of your body to release. It's like you're asking the universe to invite itself in, and then you close it
Yes.
down again. Inhale, and it's just flow. And we do it one more time. We just inhale it in, and we're grabbing it. So I'm bringing it in here, and then I'm releasing from my sternum, and I'm open. And then right here, I'm going to drop the energy. That's it.
Just drop the energy in.
Drop the
Okay.
energy. You had to let that go. It's
Mm,
gone now.
okay.
We're taking it back
Okay.
to the earth. The earth is going to what? Revent it to something different, to some
Mhm.
good energy, and then we'll pick it back
Yes.
up later on when we need it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now let me ask you another question then, since this
Yes.
seems to be so related to yoga. Let me ask you about, and I'm going to get this wrong because I don't speak in Sanskrit, Kapalabhati breathing, where we do a quick contraction of our uh, solar plexus,
Mm-hmm.
and each time we
Absolutely.
pull it in, we just release, and then we relax and let something flow instead. What
Yes.
can
So
you
I
talk
am
to
not
us
a
about
yoga
that?
person,
Uh-huh.
but we can do that breathing right now. What I'm going to do
Hmm.
is have your hands placed like this in prayer mode, put it
Hmm.
against, I'm going to turn sideways just a little bit right here. I'm going
Hmm.
to involve my abdomen, and I am going to, and I'm going to take one deep one. Then I'm going to slowly release the air and release your energy out. Yes.
Yes.
So that in itself, it creates that, and you'll be surprised just that little bit of breathing and movement what will do to open up and bring prosperity into your life.
Hmm. Yes. Wonderful.
It's,
Wonderful.
that's
So I guess that's the long answer to Reverend Jane Batt's question about what can we do regardless of our age to incorporate movement and release in order to open to the vibration of prosperity. That's the long answer.
that's the long answer.
Yes, but it's been a fun answer too. Now, one of the things that you mentioned, was being in the chair and doing things in the chair. Because one of the things I think about, Angela, is if I can do it in a chair, I can do it anywhere. I sound like green eggs and ham, but 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 what else can we do like during our workday that's innocuous that can kind of shift us back in terms of movement?
Bending
Hmm.
and stretching in a
Okay.
chair. bending and stretching in a chair. Now I'm going to see if you can, I don't know if you've been able to see me, but I'm going to move my chair back a bit.
Okay.
And I'm just going to take my hand up. And this is just bending and stretching. And I'm going to curl my spine, right? And I want to say this to everybody. Do never compress our bodies. We always want to create space and expand everything. So instead of just crunching down, I lift to go over.
Like
So
a pole vaulter in a sense.
yeah.
Don't crunch, move over.
Don't crunch. Yeah, so there's a big ball or beach ball or something there that I'm going to reach over, and I'm going to reach on my toe. You can't see my legs, but I'm going to reach beyond my toe. Oh, just on your toe is a stretch. And then there, I'm going to arch it, my back up, and just reach back. So in essence, I'm contracting and releasing. So in essence, I'm doing this. Yeah, and I'm reaching back. So it's just flow through. So think about, it's windy where I am here in DC. We have a little wind going on. So I'm going to be the branch. I'm going to be a big branch. And it's moving through. And I'm going to add breath with it. Yes. Move through. So just that. And you can do that sitting or standing. Because when you're standing, you get a longer way to go, right? So you're literally bending down to come up. And that spine is still working. Okay. So in dance terminology, we'd be saying we're undulating.
Undulating? Okay.
We're looking like a serpent, right?
Yes. Like one of those things at the car dealers. One of those air things that they blow up at the car dealers?
Exactly.
Yes.
One of those air things. Yeah. Yes. And we always move. I like to say we move through love, like the universe. The universe has a rhythm and a movement, and we're doing the same thing. We're not out of sync with the universe. We're all connected in that way. So it's just releasing all that stuff like that. Yes.
Okay, that really helps me understand. And you're a homegirl, so you would remember this. Remember Romper Room? Bend and stretch, reach for the stars. Here is Jupiter, here is Mars.
Okay, fun fact, I was on Romper Room when I was little.
Me too. September 1st, 1965, I was on.
Yes.
Yes, because they always brought you on your birthday.
Yeah, because they always on birthday. I can see so-and-so.
Yes, the magic mirror. Miss Janie fans.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, no, I wasn't on Romper Room. I was on Ricky and Copper. Do you remember
Ricky and Copper? Yeah. You know what?
Yes.
That was it.
Yes.
I got them all confused.
Yes, Ricky and Copper.
Yeah, the Met. Yes.
Yes, exactly. You know, there's a room. This is a little inside baseball, but there's a room for Ricky and Copper alum. Just go onto Facebook and do a search on Ricky and Copper.
Oh, really?
And all kinds of kids who appeared on there, kind of go into the room. But one of the things we used to do as kids, we learned to bend and stretch, reach for the stars.
Yes.
And who knew we were learning a spiritual technique?
Reach for the stars. I mean, prosperity. Reach for the stars.
Yes, absolutely. Fascinating.
Fascinating.
Yes. So we're going to.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to. I just wanted to do a little side thing because I still feel like we get so much tension in this, and we're just going to. It's just I'm gonna back up just a little bit again, and we're all sitting, and I'm going to use my rib cage and just move side to side.
And use your rib cage. Okay.
Yes, my rib cage is carrying me side to side.
Okay.
And I'm like floating through.
Okay. And I can feel it in my rib cage. Yes.
Yes. And I'm going to use my hands to kind of gently, like my elbow is leading. And that's just a twist and a carry. And I'm going to breathe, use my breath. And then, you can kind of flow with the hands too. Just gentle. And you know what you can do to bring that more prosperity and that more joy? Kind of smile. Just that in itself will do it. And then we kind of just lead with the head to go around and around, right? Just lead with the head. Gentle, easy, flowing through the life cycles. And then we just bring it down through and just keep that breath. Those are things you can use all the time.
Well, hi there. You probably didn't expect to see me. Hi, it's Reverend Michael, and Jim is having some technical difficulties. So,
All right, come on in.
I've been doing all that stuff too, and I just think that that's absolutely wonderful. See, I feel better.
Well, see, that's the point, right?
Well, no, and I think that Reverend Jane's comment about, movement after 70 plus, again, we move it or lose it. So, to keep moving. So I read a lot about somatic psychology, where we keep we keep trauma in our bodies. Can you give us an idea about that, or if you're familiar with that, and how can we release that trauma from our bodies?
Well, one thing is our bodies remembers everything. Every step, everything that we have ever gone through is set in our bodies. So trauma sits in our bodies, and that's how we develop dis-ease. So we want to ease out of that trauma. And to recognize, even if you don't know or have the memory of the trauma, your body knows. So
absolutely.
Right? So even just the little things we were just talking about earlier in terms of the breathing and the releasing, and just even like if you can just shake, and if you say to yourself, maybe I don't remember or know all the trauma, but I'm going to release all the trauma. And you breathe and release all the, and just shake it out. Release the trauma, right? Just release that trauma.
Yes.
Right? And,
Yes.
That's why dance is such a
cathartic thing.
Source.
Yes.
Of reaching higher spirituality, because that movement will actually allow things to come in. So that releasing a trauma, you can see even just a little bit of the stress of the technical difficulties.
Right. Yes.
It remains trauma. And then when we start to release it, it moves away. And even consciously and unconsciously, our minds start to release that.
Yes. There was a song by Earth, Wind, and Fire in 1988 called System of Survival. And the essence of the song was, I have so many stresses moving through my life, so I dance. And it's a part of my system of survival. And it indicated the release aspect of dance, to release stress, to release pressure, and to release pain. And it was fascinating that they knew about this years before what we call the New Age.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Recently, I was just watching the second line that they had for Frankie Beverly. Those are and I'm just like, that's the essence. That's the essence of spirituality. You move into life and you connect the source of life. You have that, whatever you feel as a human, that mourning process, but then you have that release of, oh my God, we're passing through this. We came from there. We're passing through this. We're going to another journey. And all that is represented in the movement.
Yes, absolutely. So we can dance and move our way to prosperity.
Yes.
We're going to take another quick break, and then we're going to be back with some final words of advice for our audience here on the New Thought Media Network.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience, or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
Here on the Miracle of Prosperity, and we're discussing how we can dance and move our way to prosperity. And in summary, some of the things we learned tonight from Angela Ingram include simple ways that we can move that move energy. And the energy that we move can block the chi or the life force that is the creative energy that creates and allows the prosperity that we deserve and desire. We also worked with a number of different techniques for doing so. And we realized that much of this is spiritual, even when we don't realize it or intend it to be. For everything is spiritual, and everything is a process of releasing the barriers to our awareness of the infinite energy of love and allowing the flow of the infinite energy of love that allows prosperity. So I want to thank you, Angela, for being our guest tonight. It's been such a joy and such a pleasure having you. What are you working on these days?
I am working on a lot. I just got a recent appointment at Howard University in the musical theater department. So
Oh,
we've been working on some things that are similar to this in terms of the essence and movement of dance and creating art. And art is life and life is art. So that is one of the biggest things that I've been working on lately.
oh, wonderful. That's exciting. Go Bisons.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I'm working on some interesting things too.
What are you working on?
I'm working on a new set of classes. One of the things that you mentioned, Angela, is that when we uh, move and when we allow energy to move and when we allow chi to come in, we raise to a higher vibration. Well, the earth has raised to a higher vibration, and it has raised many of us into personal mastery. And so on Monday nights, I'm doing a new class called Spirit Speaks on Personal Mastery, where the spiritual guides and teachers will guide us into self awareness, self empowerment, self forgiveness, and self healing. And this self evolution, this self transformation, causes us to open to even more prosperity than ever before. And then on Thursday nights, we're doing a class, which is a companion class to this, called Manifesting Through Mastery, where we put these techniques to work for us, where we are in our highest selves. And when we manifest from our highest selves, it's easy, it's effortless. Just like creating your self manifesting vision board, when we put ourselves into that vibration is the vibration of manifestation. You see, when we're in our human lower selves, our egos say no to
Mhm.
God and all the yes that God is offering us. But when we are in our highest self, that self is at one with God, is aligned with the God energy, and we are naturally saying yes to the yes God offers. So manifesting through mastery helps us to use manifestation techniques, some new manifestation techniques that can be used from the perspective of our highest self, as opposed to from the traumatized human version of ourselves. So
Yes.
those are the two classes I'm doing, and I'm quite excited about them.
Sounds so wonderful and so
Yes,
in time and in tune to what we need to do as we navigate what's happening now on a global planet.
absolutely, Angela. So I want to thank you once again
Hold
for
it,
being a
hold it,
guest
hold it,
and
hold
thank
it.
Michael. Oh, Michael,
Well,
he always remembers what I forgot. Go ahead, Michael.
Yes, no. I hear there's a brand new program on Mondays at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Um, um, why don't you tell them, Reverend Jim?
Oh, I forgot all about it. It's called Spirit Speaks on the
Mm,
World Today. And it's live at 5 on Mondays. And what it is, there's been so much concern, confusion, and consternation about what's going on in the world, what's going on in the Middle East, what's going on in Russia and the Ukraine, what's going on here with our elections as the polls teeter totter, and what's going on with the American consciousness. So, this show on Mondays at 5 p.m., you get a chance to talk directly to Spirit and hear Spirit's perspective. You've heard all the pundits, all the whinging and all the whining, all the worrying and all the anxiety. What does Spirit have to say?
absolutely.
And Spirit offers us information and guidance that is likely to bring us comfort and help us to make sense of the senseless. Every Monday at 5 p.m., here on the New Thought Media Network, my YouTube page, my Facebook page, and other pages as well. So it's on multiple platforms. So that's what else I'm up to, but I totally forgot about it. So thank you, Michael, for holding us together during our technical difficulties. And thank you, Michael, for reminding me. But thank you one more time, Angela, for being our guest here on the New Thought Media Network. Good night.